Alright, here's a cheat sheet that I made up for when you get harassed by police, when you've effectively baited them, and you just, it's clear that there's no reason to be stopped. Alright, like, you can't fathom why they're harassing you. Okay, I just kind of came up with some questions here. Just you can read them right off the start. Otherwise, I'll just read them because if you're just sitting somewhere, there's obvious if you really murdered somebody and the cops catch you with blood on your hands. Well, that's a different situation. You're pretty much guilty of that. I'm focusing more on the people that really it's not clear what's going on. Okay, and I like to get to the bottom of things. I wanna know exactly why. I want to know immediately why the cop is there. So, all right, and this is what makes, I think, for better entertainment for me, at least as a viewer. It makes for better entertainment on YouTube. Okay, and I don't think a cop will stick around to answer all these questions, so you don't get to the point where you might want to prioritize your questions anyway. The most important at the top, the least important at the bottom, because the cop's not going to want to sit there and answer all your questions. So I want to know, was there a complaint? Okay, who was the complainant? Why did the cop stop? Okay, was somebody making a call and then the cop showing up on their behalf, or the cop showing up on their own and just enforcing a law that way? I want to know the cop's name. What is your name? What is your police department? Is this a sheriff's department? Is this police department? It can be kind of hard to tell, especially when it's dark out. All right, the cop's like, well, I'm wearing a uniform. Well, sometimes you can't see that when they're shining a flashlight in your face and it's nighttime. Okay, who is your police chief? All right, people like to ask for the supervisor. Let's get a supervisor out here. Cop's like, well, I'm the supervisor. I at least want to know, at least you can ask, who is your police chief? Or who is your supervisor? Okay, who is the next person above you? Just at least give a name, a full name, a full wholesome name. Have you sworn to an oath for your police department? Have you sworn to any oaths? Okay, you don't have to ask them to recite the oath. If you want to, what the heck, but you won't get all your questions answered. You can find out what that oath is afterward. How long have you worked for the department? I think that's relevant. Okay, did they just start last week? Are they a veteran? Are you under the influence of anything? Anything like aspirin? All right. When I was in the military, when I was in Barksdale Air Force Base, that was a nuke base, and you couldn't even carry a gun if you took aspirin, because they wanted everybody that sober. They don't want anybody under the influence of anything, and you want your cop to be sober, so you want them to admit that they're sober, and just be sure. What are your shift hours? These are curiosities. Well, what hours are you working? And did you get enough sleep before you started this shift? Okay? Because that's people who are tired make bad decisions. They're not in the right state of mind, especially if it's been consistently going on. It's a call for help for cops. If they're not consistently getting good sleep because of some issue, that's a call for help for them. They could end up shooting somebody, and then you got a bigger problem that could have been avoided had somebody found out on a psychological. These are psychological questions in a way. All right. Another curiosity: what is the address of your police station? You're orienting themselves. I was thinking, what would be would be another good question related to the supervisory? I was thinking of asking, who is your mayor? Okay, but I mean that's something that you could find out on your own anyway, and that would be like, nonsense questions. Who is your police chief? That's not as well known as something like the mayor. So those are the questions to ask, and definitely keep a cheat sheet on you, okay, for when a cop does stop, because it's so much easier. I learned when I worked for Toys R Us answering phone calls in the Christmas time with moms, it was so much easier to answer the questions by just reading the sheets. They ask, I see the question, I read the answer. It's so much easier to do that when you're just taking in so much. And when you're dealing with cops, you're under so much stress that you just, boom, here it is. Now I can ask instead of trying to remember and then and deal with all the adrenaline and stuff. Adrenaline can make you forget things. So having a cheat sheet with you helps. This is a cheat sheet I would prefer to keep. Instead of those ones that say, "Oh, I don't answer any questions," and here's all my rights. Here's a piece of paper with all my rights. I don't answer any questions. I want to make a good YouTube video. If the cop's gonna be a bad cop, let's make a good YouTube video. Get the views of this guy or lady.